Hi guys, my name is attorney Walter Rudolph Hnot III, and what we're going to be doing today is basically going ahead and dealing with one question and one question alone. So I'm going to wait until people kind of come into the video section, and then we're going to go ahead and go into what that question is. In the meantime, while we're kind of waiting, I want to go through number one. There are different groups that go ahead and help us out with things, and the first one is our little mini sponsors and things like that. So the first sponsor I want to talk about is spaceconstitution.com. That's basically a amazing idea that I had to go ahead and create to help the future of humanity. So first sponsor is spaceconstitution.com. Howdy, howdy. I see you guys there. It is basically creating the first online open source, which means anybody can get to it, anybody can add to it, constitution. So what is Space Constitution? It's basically anybody in the world, not just politicians, can go ahead and add to a constitution for freedoms that they feel they should have. And basically what I'm doing is I'm making this available to anybody so that we can use this future space constitution for future third-party groups. So think of it as like, SpaceX, think of it as like, these companies that'll go to space, and we can use this constitution as leverage to get more rights for humans. So that's kind of what spaceconstitution.com is. In the near future, you'll be able to go ahead and work on and do things online. I've been working day and night to go ahead and create things for it, but a lot of it's right now offline. But it is something that I feel very strongly about, and something I'm extremely excited about. What I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to go over here and go to the space rights real quick. I'm going to pop open the Word document, and I'm going to go ahead and grab some of the basic things that I've been working on so that you can kind of see it and have a better idea as to what's going on. But here, let me grab some of this real quick. Copy and paste. Here we go. Let me know if you guys can see this. Oh, actually, wait. I can only put in 200 words or whatever it is, so I can't post it. Either way, no biggie. The other thing I want to talk to you guys about is this. The mask. I don't care politically where you stand on the mask, but somebody I know that does an amazing job of creating masks is just joined the chat, which is Cheyenne. She makes these amazing masks. They have this little thing in the nose, which allows it to form to your face better. And basically, they're a really good price, which compared to a lot of people that do this stuff, these are actually really cheap. Because she's going to be doing a competition really soon for people to go ahead and win free masks. So if you get a chance to say hi to Cheyenne, if you get a chance to thank Cheyenne, she's basically going to be sending out to people who win the competition free masks. So that's really, really incredible. They'll probably even get to pick out which fabrics they want and all kinds of stuff. So this was my 4th of July mask. So, hey. All right. Now that we've talked about our sponsors and those that are promoting us and things like that, Phil B, one of my sources of the case. I'm at 2 listings. Thank you, Cheyenne. Phil B, super congratulations. Super congrats. Boom. There you go. That is awesome. All right. So what I want to do today is I want to make this video all about one particular question. So yeah, GAF scores, I heard you say it's pretty complicated. GAF scores, yeah, they go up and down. It's a whole thing, but we'll go into that into a second, because the big thing that I want to do is I want to talk specifically about one question. There's only one question, and it's only one question that seems to get everybody really upset or afraid or sweating in the hearing room. And I need you to understand something. This question is a horrible question for a judge to ask. It is a horrible question for an attorney to ask the claimant. But yet today, just like, this morning with the hearing I had, it popped right up. This is the great demonic question that everybody seems to have a really, really tough time with. I want to do it, and we're going to go into detail with it. So first thing you need to know, which is the question. The question is, why can you no longer work? Everybody does a horrible job with that. I can ask any one of you guys, found disabled or not, everybody does a horrible job, because your brain immediately goes to, well, I can't do walking or standing, or I have pain or this or yeah. It's all over the place. So I want for how that works. What I'm going to do is, instead of using just a bunch of hand gestures, today I'm actually going to use the iPad and write out what these themes are so that you can follow with me as I create them. Now, of course, the usual thing is always, and I think I already missed a phone call. Did I? No. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the iPad as kind of like a slate to go ahead with you guys and draw out how to answer this question. Most people, you're just not. You can't perfectly answer this question right off the bat. It's just too tough. So once again, what is the question? The question is, and I'm creating a new thing right now. The question is, how the heck do I draw on this thing with this pen? Usually it just works. There it is. Okay, cool. The question is, why can't you work, right? So the whole idea is, why am I unable to work? And once I figure out how to get this pen working, we are going to be all set. Let's see if we try that. That's not working either. All right, great. So anyways, the whole thing is, why can't we work? First thing you want to do when answering that is you don't start with your impairments. You don't start with your symptoms. You don't start with your medications. You don't start with your side effects. You start with those jobs, okay? Those jobs that you had back in the day. So let me give you an example. Why are you unable to work? The judge asks, the judge queries, the judge will say to you, why are you unable to work? First thing your brain should be doing is saying, what were the jobs, at least the categories of jobs, the types of jobs I had within the past 15 years. Okay. So let's talk about that, right? So, okay. So, I used to be a cashier. I used to be a, whatever. I mean, you guys can come up with whatever jobs you like, and I can always go into them. I used to be a cashier. I used to be a ticket taker at a movie theater. I used to be a price checker. I used to go ahead and do construction work, right? All these little different options and things and yada yada like that, right? Okay, so you've got these options, right? Good, good, good. The first thing you're going to do is state one of those jobs. I used to be a cashier, okay? Why can't you work, right? It seems simple now that you know, right? It seems simple now that we're going back to the basic fundamental question that, yeah, of course, I would just talk about the jobs I used to do. Nobody gets that. Nobody thinks that. Let's go right into it. I used to be a cashier. When I was a cashier, all right, now here's part two. You have to list the things you used to do as a cashier. When I was a cashier, I had to memorize codes for the machine, count change, lift items, and scan them. I had to interact with the general public, right? Those are the things I had to do. Then you're going to use your impairments to explain why each one of those would be difficult. My anxiety makes it difficult for me to be around the general public. I don't think I could be around them for more than an hour. Always put a time example on there because these judges' brains are all based upon time. What do I mean by that? They're based upon 0 to 1/3 of the time, 1/3 to 2/3 of the time, and then 2/3 to the entire job. That's all within an 8-hour workday. But their brains, because of the vocational rules, are all split up into that, 0 to 1/3, 1/3 to 2/3, and 2/3 to the whole time for basically your ability to go ahead and function at a job. That's what that whole vocational allowance section is about. So let's talk about that. What does that mean? And also, hold on, let me put in here. If you guys want to call in for me to run hearing questions with you, that's the phone number. And if you do call in, I'll go ahead and run this question with you so that you can try and get it right and do the best you can. So we've talked about, okay, I'm a cashier. I had to do those functions. What limits those functions? Number one, I would go ahead and have a difficult time interacting with the general public because of my anxiety. Boom, that one's off the table. And say, like, I could only be around the general public for maybe an hour, right? Number two, okay, and when it comes to memorizing codes, I have a difficult time memorizing codes because I have memory issues due to such and such medication. I can usually only remember a couple of steps, and then I forget them the next day anyways. Boom, you've taken care of that one. Or another thing, cashier, you've got to stand basically for, the entire time that you're doing it. So why wouldn't I be able to stand? Well, I've got degenerative disc disease in my back, which causes a shooting sharp lightning leg pain that shoots down my left leg. I can only stand for about 45 minutes, and then I have to sit down for an hour, okay, to go ahead and rest. Okay, good. For that. So just to recap, because I know people are coming in, people are going out. We're answering the toughest question that people have in the hearing. The toughest question, I got to wait till this thing reconnects. The toughest question that people have while in the hearing room, and I'm just waiting for this connection to reestablish. Hold on. Okay. All right, there we go. The toughest question that people have while in the hearing room is that the judge will ask them, hey, why can't you work? Step one, look at your past jobs. Oh, hold on, we're getting a call. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. How can I help you? Sure. So one sec. Do you mind if we go live on YouTube? I just have to give you the heads up. Okay, perfect. So real quick, there's no attorney-client privilege. Make sure you use a fake name. And Madame, explain to me, so you just had your hearing. What happened?
All right. I just had the hearing. All right. At the hearing, it was, well, because of COVID, it was a telehearing. It wasn't done by FaceTime. I was told the day before it was going to be a telehearing. And believe it or not, what I did was I looked at your prior videos on preparation.
Sure.
So I had my statements prepared as my ability to, you know, clean and cook. And the basic question, he called this the big question he was going to ask me, why can't I work? I had a prepared statement for that. And it lasted me, all right, I have back issues, and a dislocated knee issue.
Okay.
All right, and all medically documented. But this medical expert said that I should see a psychiatrist and maybe go on antidepressants. I didn't say a word through the whole thing. And then the judge said, does the complainant have anything to say? And I rattled off my MRI result, like the very quick lines of it, bum, 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 and then my prepared statement.
Okay. Your prepared statement. What was your prepared statement?
I can definitely get it for you. Hold on. It's in my little file.
Okay. Yeah, grab the prepared statement. Also, while you're working on that, what is your current age to work that she can do in the national economy, unless her alleged onset date is before she turns 60, which it probably was because she had to wait a couple of years to get to the judge. But bottom line is her
3 years.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing: your attorney can always request a non-mechanical application allowance, which would allow you to be considered for a gridding at the 60+ age group allowance. But that's fancy stuff. Either way, go ahead and walk me through what is your
statement. I just got out of my car.
Perfect. Ready to roll.
Okay. It was okay. I can no longer work because I am in constant severe pain every day from the time I wake up. The pain is ocular migraines that make me lose vision. I have stage 2 hypertension that causes numbing in the right side of my head, dizziness, extra movement and stress exacerbate. I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. Exacerbates it. I cannot sit or stand for more than 10 minutes. I walk with a severe limp and cannot handle a half a block of walking.
So you prepared a statement and you just read the statement.
Right. Yes.
And your attorney, well, first of all, did you have an attorney?
Yes.
Okay, so why didn't your attorney question you? Why didn't they examine you?
Well, he says, well, when I talked to him the day before, he goes, the only thing you...
That was what you answered with, right?
Yes.
In that answer, did you talk about any of the prior jobs that you had?
Well, the judge asked me about my prior jobs. I worked for the government for 26 years as at the IRS. I was an offer examiner. He wanted to know what I did, and I said, I cut deals. Like if you owe $25,000 and you can only offer $100, we would make a deal. Didn't go to the specifics of the actual job, you know, step by step.
Okay. So here's the deal. Your claim was done poorly, but it was done poorly for a purpose. Don't spend a lot of time on claims. That's because we know what to say to the judge. We know what to write to the judge to go ahead and get the judge to just approve the claim. As a 60-plus-year-old claimants, we as attorneys traditionally do not, build that much because it doesn't need it, because the statutes get rid of element 5, which is, are there any other jobs in the national economy? However, with that said, and I cannot make this important enough, you have to be able to talk about the jobs that you used to do and explain in detail, break it down, why each job you couldn't do those functions. Because element 4, so all right, let me ask you this. Do you know what element 4 of the 5 elements of disability are?
No.
All right, element 4 is, can you do your past relevant work? So the only question is, element 1, are you currently working and earning around $1,300 a month? Are you once do you fought for 3 years? So we know the answer to that. Element 3, do you meet, equal, or exceed a listing? So let me ask you this. Did the judge even ask questions about your prior work in a vocational setting, like to a vocational expert?
Oh, yes, he did talk to a vocational expert.
Okay. Did they talk about your prior work?
They talked about my prior work.
Okay. And when they talked
something,
yeah,
they asked her 3 different questions, and the last question, she didn't think I would be able to effectively maintain something to that extent.
Well, tell me about it.
I wouldn't be able to maintain what I used to do.
Okay. All right. So here's what happened, guys, just so everybody knows. 60-plus-year-old individuals, classic phrase. And so basically, once you hit 60, you become an old dog for adjudication purposes, Social Security disability benefits. And upon becoming an old dog, they basically say, okay, we don't expect them to be able to do other kinds of work, but we do expect them to be able to do the work that they did within the past 15 years since 2005. So, ma'am, can you tell me, you worked for the government for 26 years. Did you work anywhere else in the past 15 years?
No.
Okay. So what was the job that you did with the government?
I call it the Shawshank Redemption. It was like a prison sentence for a time it was like a prison sentence. It was very grueling, it was an extremely high stressful environment. It involved high caseload inventories and up with the production part of it at all.
Okay. So essentially, they said you would not be able to keep up because of the back problems, lack of focus, pain, wouldn't be able to sit long enough, yada, yada, correct?
Yes, and the stage 2 hypertension.
So you're going to pop at any point.
Time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So
that's what gave it to me, that job.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. A lot of people don't realize these jobs come with a very bad mental output. And that's, once you hit that 60-year mark area, you're starting to actually realize the hypertension-based issues, and it's also cognitive-related issues and neuro issues. So, but yes. Yeah. I don't know if that one's going to be free at public. So anyways. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so, all right. Let me go into, now, look, here's the deal. At the very end of the vocational expert analysis, they said basically that you couldn't do the job that you used to do, correct?
Yeah.
Did they talk about time off task, how many days you could miss work to be fired, things like that?
No.
Okay, so what this means is that nobody took this claim serious enough to really work it, because you should have been found disabled at the initial filing level, and you should have been found disabled at the reconsideration level. But because the DDS reps follow forms, they're kind of like not really judges, but they're like baby little judges. What happens is this, basically, you should have been found disabled much earlier, and now everybody's time got wasted with this hearing. Prepared statement, the judge would have immediately cut you off, gotten angry with you, and said basically, essentially that they want to hear your testimony. However, because nobody really took that claim seriously, because you should have just been found disabled anyways, it worked out. So that's good. Now, let me ask you this. When you went to go answer why you couldn't work, okay, did you go ahead and go into how your medication limits your ability to do certain functions?
No.
Okay. So as an example for everybody on YouTube, here are the steps to go ahead and properly answer that question. Did your attorney review this right up before you? I mean, did your attorney?
After information and results after results and tons of documentation. And then by it was supposed to be in March 31st, but they postponed it because of this COVID thing, right?
Right.
That was the first time I talked to him in 3 years, right? And then I talked to him the day before the hearing, right? I haven't heard squat from him since.
So things are going well, right? Things are going great. Everybody's happy. Everybody's doing really well.
I'm going under the assumption no news is good news.
Well, here's the deal. Your claim goes onto a back burner, and it takes about 3 to 4 months for them to write a decision. And what happens after that, and it's really simple, is that basically the writer of the judge will go ahead and write out information about nobody really took that claim seriously. Now, your attorney should have done a better job at prepping you. Your attorney should have done a better job writing an opening statement, reading it to you so you have a better understanding. And your attorney, if your attorney knew the judge wanted an opening statement from the claimant, which never happens, it just doesn't happen, then the attorney should have written it with you. Go ahead and read it again.
It was in the wind, boy. I had a...
Yeah. Well, what area are you from?
I'm New York.
Ah, okay. You're a tri-stater. You're a tri-stater. Ah.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah. A slice of pizza is $1. It's the size of the moon. Life is good. Okay, good. All right. Perfect. I'm from New Jersey, so I'm, across the river.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Live the dream. So, all right. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I just don't. So, all right.
My God, you're a pisser.
So with that said, read for me what your statement was again, and then we're going to pick it apart and show you how to do a better one next time, even though you won't need it.
All right. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. I am in constant severe pain every day from the time I wake up. The pain is in my back, legs, neck, right knee, both hands, and face. I suffer from 3-day migraines and ocular migraines that make me lose my vision. I have stage 2 hypertension that causes numbing on the right side of my head and dizziness. Extra movement and stress exacerbate it. I cannot sit or stand for more than 10 minutes. I walk with a severe limp and cannot even handle a half a block walking.
Okay. I didn't doubt that you fabricated, the whole thing to make us have a good time. Here's the thing. Did you during that explain what your pain actually felt like?
No, I know because nobody asked me. He told me not to open my mouth unless somebody told me to open it.
Your attorney said that?
Yeah. So in other words, when the medical expert was telling me I should go see a psychiatrist and get a what you would call antidepressants, all right, even though it's like chock full of MRI reports saying how rotten my body is, I just sat in my car listening to this shaking. I could not believe what was going on. But then when the judge says, "Does the complainant have something to say?" I said, "Yes, I do, Your Honor."
Okay, wait. We went. So basically, just for my understanding here, what was the plan if the judge asked you a bunch of questions? Like, I mean, did you have a plan?
There was none. The only reason why I had any kind of plan is because of your videos.
Jesus Christ.
I swear to God, the night before, I went online, and this is how I discovered you.
Oh,
all right?
My God.
I swear to God.
My videos should never solely be the thing. This is so bad.
I'm not joking, man.
Man.
That's how I discovered you.
Wow. Well, I'm really sorry that you had an attorney that. All right. So I just want to point out a couple of things. Number one, your attorney should never tell you to not talk during the hearing. The only part of the hearing you don't talk during is during the vocational expert portion, but you have to talk during the examination. Let me get this straight. So who?
Question of the day. That was it.
That was it.
That was it, man. That was it.
All your attorney did was ask you one question.
Yep, and the judge, he wanted to know about cooking, and he wanted to know about hygiene.
Jesus. That's not...
And why I haven't gotten my knee operated.
Well, that's easy. I mean, even I can answer that. All right, so... Guys, the way it's supposed to work is that Jesus, the judge.
Welcome to New York.
And here's the best part. Like, if you were not capable of speaking well, like the claimant I had today had a hard time answering questions, mental fog, the whole rest of them, the judge will get cranky and give and say, attorney, counselor, just go ahead and begin the questions. In your claim, you're obviously well-spoken, so you're able to answer questions, interact with the judge. The judge asks you basic questions. He turns it over to your attorney. Your attorney says, the question of the day is, why can't you work?
Yeah.
And that was it. You read a statement, and that was it?
That's it, man. And then the judge goes, well, he thanked me and everything. He goes, listen, he goes, I really want to see her MRIs. I want to really look at her MRIs. And he goes, can you get them to me, to my attorney? He goes, yes, Your Honor, I can do it. He goes, how long do you think you'll need? And he said 2 weeks, right? So I didn't say any. I'm just sitting there, just not saying anything. So when everybody said goodbye, I said, thank you, Your Honor. And that was it. And he said, you're welcome.
So let me get this straight. Did he want the actual imaging, or did he want the output, like the analysis of it?
He wanted the reports, which
So your attorney...
Yeah, and I refaxed them. I refaxed it to him.
Jeez. So your attorney didn't get the medical records.
Yeah, I swear to God.
Right. We'll use proper terminology. This guy was a schlup. He did not do anything. And then he told you to zip it. And then he said, "Oh, I love it. Oh my God, I wish I could."
I felt like a horse that got beaten.
Yeah, you didn't even get ridden hard in this story. You just showed up, read a statement, and went home. On the other side of the coin, you don't see or hear hearings with disability attorneys where traditionally the attorney will only ask one question. We've got lots. I mean, I want to know about your cooking, cleaning, laundry, driving, transportation alternatives. I want to hear about when you buy groceries. I want to hear about if you're able to do hobbies, yard work, if you're able to go to...
The judge was asking me this stuff.
So, I mean...
The judge.
What? Okay, so at the end of the day... All right, so what is your... So your attorney hasn't contacted... He must have said... It's telephonic, right? So he must have contacted you after the hearing. He must have called you.
No. I got ghosted.
Oh my God. You had a catfish ghost you. This is terrible.
I go, I'm just calling for a follow-up of today's event.
What happened?
The hearing.
Yeah.
If you need anything or if you want to tell me what's going on, give me a call back, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Nothing, right? So then during the week, I faxed the MRIs. I said, I'll leave an open door on that one. So I called them. I go, hi. I just faxed over the MRIs in case you could not find them in the file, even though I sent them in June 2019. All right, so then that was that. Nothing, right? So then I called him. I figured he went away for July 4th week, so I didn't bother him for a week. All right?
A whole week.
So I called on Tuesday.
It's a nice week.
Jeez. And then,
that's how you do it.
Right back. He didn't pick up.
Oh, he ghosted you again.
He ghosted me again. Wait, I'm telling you. And I went to the bathroom. This is yesterday's bathroom. Today I went to the bathroom. He called me.
Oh, God.
Within a minute.
Yeah.
All right. He wouldn't pick up. He wouldn't pick up all day now.
Jesus. I can't.
I'm still ghosted.
I can't ask you what your attorney's name was. But
no, I won't do it.
Yeah, no, I can't ask either. But the bottom line is,
I would just bring him on the world.
Well, and here's the thing too. Like you're going to be found disabled, but this story and the fact that it's from New York is very good because it explains some of the behavior that a lot of these attorneys do. The way it should have gone is the attorney should have written some sort of opening statement / brief. And they should have prepped you based areas where basically you had, imaging done and things like that. So now you got all these back problems and knee problems. Do you have an orthopedic device that's been prescribed?
L1, L1, 2 through L4, 5 disc bulges, impinging my fecal sac, desiccation of all my discs from the top to the bottom. All right. I have in my neck, it has retrolisthesis of the C4 and 5 and spondylosis of the C4 through 6, all degenerated, and there's degeneration of the T1 and 2, and then the final kabush is, hold on, Let's see, complex tear of the medial meniscus with a displaced flap in the I have moderate osteoarthritis, most prominent in the medial anterior compartments, with areas of grade 4 chondromalacia.
Okay.
So I'm all messed up. I'm telling you. From my spirit's great. All right.
Yeah.
As you can tell, but my body sucks.
So I guess, you know, the big thing at this point is I would be concerned that your attorney did not properly submit your medical evidence to the court. So if it were me, I would print out that stuff and I would mail it to the courthouse. Just make sure your social and your name is on it.
All right. I can mail to the courthouse in care of Judge so-and-so?
Yeah, you can mail it to them. You can fax it to them. You can, you know, do those two functions. Yeah.
I won't be like that.
I think you would screw yourself by not doing that because this guy sounds like he's not. What's also interesting is that the judge has to go by the 5-10-day letter notification, which is that 10 days before the hearing, the attorney has to notify the judge if there's records that are basically unable to be obtained. 5 days before the hearing, the attorney has to notify the judge if there's any outstanding records that are still to be obtained. So kind of the bottom line here is he didn't submit that. So if he screws this up, that's 2 screw-ups. And the judge is going to deny them, which means that your hearing, your claim will be heard without the evidence. So if I were you, I'd call the hearing office tomorrow, get their fax number, and fax that stuff to them.
All right, call the hearing number, get the fax number. All right, yeah, I got a letter the day after the hearing. It's dated June 26th.
Okay. And basically, you're going to want to submit that, and you're also going to want to ask them to send you a disc of your. That way, you can open it up and go ahead and look to see what is going on, you know, inside your record. And you're specifically going to want to look at the F folder. The F folder is going to have.
Wait a minute, man. Let me write this down.
Yeah.
All right. A disc of my exhibit.
So in a disc of your exhibits, and you're specifically going to want to look at your F folder, which are your medical documents.
Specifically the F folder. F is in Frank?
Yep, you got it.
The F folder. And then fax.
Perfect.
In care of the judge who's presiding. All right. Well, hopefully, if he calls me back tomorrow, hopefully I won't have to go through this. If he ghosts me again tomorrow, then I'm going to have to do this.
But yeah, I mean, you definitely want to do it because if this gets screwed up, the judge will go and make a decision on your claim without the medical evidence, and then you'll be shit out of luck. Like there won't be any option.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you believe this? I cannot believe this. 3 years. 3 years of this.
Well, you gotta understand too, like this is more common than people realize. Like it's not just you. When I did my internships like 12 years ago, or it's maybe even more than that now, but when I did my internship, I was lucky. I got to intern with the guy who's been doing this for 60 years. He's the oldest living disability attorney. And then I got to do it with the board chair of my county for the Orange County Social Security Disability bar. So bottom line was I had great internships with really high class individuals, but 99% of the people doing this kind of law are just underhanded bad attorneys. So, you know, and I think that's why, to be honest with you, this channel has become more popular. It's because there's just so much crap out there practicing law, and it just, you know, it's one of those gigs where people aren't happy anymore. But before I let you go, I want to give you just what the answer to that question structurally was supposed to include. So the way it works is this. Number one, if the question is, we'll do that. The question is, why are you unable to work? Really tough question. The answer includes the following. What jobs did you have within the past 15 years? Typically, you would go into why you couldn't do new jobs. Now, in your case, you're over 60, so they don't care. But if you weren't over 60, you'd also have to answer what other types of little jobs in the national economy you could be able to do. And the classic jobs you want to be able to explain that you can't do are number one, cleaner, housekeeper. Number two, price marker. Number three, checker. And those are all DOT, dictionary occupational title jobs that always come up. They always come up. So do you have any questions for me going forward about what happens next or what you need to know?
I texted you my questions, that I haven't heard from, so you know the whole story. Help me.
Absolutely. I'm surprised. I mean, this is not supposed to, like, the channel is supposed to be like just a helping hand.
God.
That's so sad too. He totally, I mean, is it an older guy or a younger guy?
I think he's younger. Yeah, because one about conversations, right?
Yeah.
He goes, I don't want you to get over anxious or upset about anything. And I go, man, listen, I've been doing this for 3 years. I've been cool as a gabagool. And he started laughing. He goes, cool as a gabagool. I go, I've never heard of that. So I know he's young.
Yeah. Well,
anybody old knows.
I mean,
I don't think he knew I was on the phone. And the medical expert, were gabbing to each other. And the medical expert goes, sometimes, I just have to go against what I think is to be true about somebody. And my lawyer, who goes, listen, he goes, do what you have to do. He goes, I don't care. He goes, I'm not going to get paid.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So was that in reference?
Nobody knew I was on the phone yet.
Is that in reference to your claim?
I'm thinking because he berated the crap out of me once he got me. Can I appeal this on my own?
Yeah, but you'd have to know how to write a brief for appeals counsel, which is not a light gig. Okay, so all right, couple of issues here. When the medical expert was present on the phone, can you tell me what did the medical expert say at the beginning of the hearing?
He goes, well, from the information that I looked at, it seems that, I see that she has issues, but it also seems to me that her doctors like her very much, And then they asked me if I had physical therapy. How come you haven't had physical therapy? I go, because I couldn't do the physical therapy. Plus, I couldn't pay for it. I didn't have the money for this physical therapy, Then they went, and then he said, it's my opinion that most of this is in her head. And then my lawyer says, don't you have her reports? He goes, well, I don't have this report or that report.
All right, so this is not good. And let me tell you why it's not good. The medical expert is trying to basically take away credit, the weight of the evidence from the medical facilities that you have by saying that the doctors were buddies of yours. Now, were the doctors that you were seeing specialists or just regular physicians?
Oh, no. One's a specialist and one's a physician.
Okay. So what in the evidence, have you read your medical record at all?
Oh, yeah, I have them.
What in the medical evidence, what in the fact pattern section of it, at the very beginning, the facts from your doctors made that medical expert believe that your doctors were not giving accurate medical testimony because of their favor towards you?
Is that my my general physician, all right, there's a form called an HA 4633.
Yeah, sure.
All right, wait. Was that the one? Wait, not that form.
That's probably not that form because that comes in three.
No, it's not that form.
Yeah, the 4632 through 4631 through 4633.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's called. There's no number on it. It says to determine this individual's ability to do work-related activities on a day-to-day basis, based on your examination, and it gives diagnosis. Standing, walking, sitting.
It's an RFC.
The numbers 1 through 8 and all that stuff.
Yeah, residual functional capacity.
Anyway,
yeah.
One doctor looked at the other doctor's thing and basically went verbatim with it.
That means you've got. Now, wait, are you saying your doctor filled that out or their doctor filled that out?
Oh, no, my doctor's.
All right. So so you got a copy paste job of 2 doctors that support you.
Yep.
Did your attorney cross-examine the medical expert and get the medical expert to explain why he feels preference was in your favor by your?
No.
All right, so that was a major flaw because that would have been appealable issues right there for him to explain why he felt your doctor supported you so much.
Not one freaking word.
Damn.
I'm screwed.
It does feel like that, but internally, I want to tell you nice things. So I'm going to think of something very, like unicornish to say. And, just realize I'm saying it, but it does sound like you're in a shit show situation. Did you have a good...
I was thinking they were trying to make me sound like I'm nuts and have
this, which is really what this is coming down to. Number one, you need to get the exhibit disc and basically, and I'm so busy right now. If you can somehow get me the exhibit disc, I'll try to look at it. I will try. Remember, you have basically the 10 days to get the records, and then you have about 2 months to 2.5 months after that to fix this whole thing before the judge has the writer finalize the brief. So, how do you fix this?
I'm going to move my butt tomorrow and get and request the disc and the F folder, and I'm going to fax the MRI reports to the court in care of the judge. At least I have this Gigundo leg brace prescribed to me, but I get stuck in it. I get caught on things and I get stuck.
So you're not a good transformer.
$700.
Jesus. Expensive brace. Oh, God. That did not come from Publix. I can assure you it did not come from Publix.
I'm telling you. It's like, no, not at all. It's a Frankenstein brace. It came from a medical store.
Did they ask you why you don't have a cane, crutch, walker, wheelchair, anything like that?
No.
Right.
I'm a limper. I brought limping to a whole new level.
I'm a limper. I am.
I'm a limper. I'm a limper.
I love it. When you think of those little blue signs where they show like the person, yours is just gonna be like almost falling, like with like little like static things around you, like on blue. It's gonna be a great sign. You'll see it on eBay later. So perfect. All right. So how do you fix this? God, so many things to touch on.
That's a whopper, huh?
Yeah. All right. I would write a new statement explaining why you can't work. And this is what I would do. I'm going to give you questions to put in a statement to submit to the court. No.
Oh, that's it. Work April 30th, 2016.
Perfect. Next statement, that you haven't worked since then and have not received any income since then.
No, there was only one little thing. After I left in 2016, right?
Yeah.
I thought I love children, all right? So I do it. I couldn't do it because I couldn't do it. I couldn't keep up with the girls were age,
right? And
I could do it, And plus, the little critters kept getting me sick from hugging and tying their shoes. So I was only there 50 days. I told the judge that.
You were allergic to cuteness. I loved your story.
They were so cute, but they got me sick.
Oh, they got you physically sick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were like...
I get all the time from the little critters.
Yeah, no, I thought you were genuinely allergic to cooties. And I was like, man, I'm in the same boat.
I love the little guys, but then they little snotties and their shoelaces and everything.
Yeah, so they're snot bubble makers. They know how to use the wipies. All right, so so you're no longer working. I think number 2. So we're good. Category 2, your impairment has lasted since, and then pick a date that's somewhere in there as to when your impairments became really severe. Number 3, you're gonna have to explain. Do you know what listings are? Oh God, this is gonna be complicated. Do you know what listings are?
You know what? You got other people on the phone. I mean, on your thing.
I know there's somebody that wants to call in, but
no. I'll start with this. I'll call back next week.
Okay. It may be too late. I don't want to.
Maybe I'll have good news.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to make you feel like that might happen. I want to keep it in the neutral gray zone.
I don't want to hog the show. I'm going to go.
All right.
I'll let you go.
Perfect. So right next to the medication section. You'll be fine.
Oh, my God.
Anyways.
Thank you for all your help.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful night. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, guys, so there were a lot of issues with that claim. The medical expert explained to the attorney right up front that basically he wanted to potentially approve it, but he didn't want to approve it because, it was a He felt that the medical experts that were on the claimant side, her doctors, went ahead and basically were pro-claimant, and that they were too pro-claimant, ergo their evidence should receive less weight in their adjudication. And basically agreed with the medical expert and said, well, I'm not going to get paid on them anyways. So that should not be one of those things where you come into the hearing feeling good. Basically, her attorney stabbed her in the back and didn't defend her to the medical expert. The medical expert was okay with then destroying her battleship because her own captain of her ship, her attorney, basically had fallen overboard before even starting the hearing. Not a good situation. There are things that she can do to fix this. Number one, get all the medical evidence in. Number two, get more orthopedic devices immediately and submit that evidence. Number three, submit to the judge why she meets the 5-step sequential process, leaving out element 5 because she's over 60. The other thing she's probably going to want to do is, I don't know. It's just, it's so close. There's such little. I just have to keep that attorney and keep going. It's sad. It's not a good situation. So I feel bad for her. But unfortunately, what that attorney did is more common in this field than not. So anyways, I know there was a person who wanted to go ahead and give me a call. I'm going to put the phone number on here real quick. And if you want to give me a call, I can run questions with you, or I can do hearing stuff with you. That's fine. So there you go. Anyways, I see the last comment was just by scratch offs. I can see we're having a high level of conversation in the live chat. That's good. That's very good. Let's see. While I'm waiting for the phone call, if you guys could send me specifically any of the questions you have. I think there was one about GAF. Does anybody still want to know? And never mind. Somebody's calling in. Hold on. Go ahead.
Yes.
Perfect. So would you like me to answer some question about your claim, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you?
It's going to be probably a while before I have my hearing.
Mm-hmm.
I just got my denial with my first denial,
mm-hmm.
but it took like 9 months, and I wanted to go ahead and find me an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just been trying to get my nerves up, for talking with somebody.
Okay.
Because I'm really nervous right now talking to you.
Okay, perfect. So this is a good setting. This is kind of a relaxed setting. There's no wrong answer. All you get to do is learn from anything that we talk about. There's no attorney-client relationship. I'm not charging you. This is basically just for your own. Tell me, what is your...
Or I'm not really sure what caused it, but I made some of the same mistakes over and over,
mm-hmm.
and they fired me. But I do have depression, anxiety, and I have PTSD from abuse from my ex-husband of 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I have muscle spasms in my pelvic area,
mm-hmm.
and I did take a leave of absence for
mm-hmm.
that reason for like 3 months, but they didn't want to pay me because they said I'm totally disabled at that time
mm-hmm.
with, my short-term disability. So they, I had to go back to work, and when I tried to go back to work, or not, because I was really drowsy,
mm-hmm.
and sometimes I find myself dozing off, sitting at my computer. And I also have asthma. I get short-winded and out of breath at just about anything that I do, physical, even bending over and pulling a trash bag out of a trash can.
Okay.
But,
can you tell me this? What are your top 5 most severe impairments?
I would say the muscle spasms in my pelvic area.
Mm-hmm.
That's every day, and
okay.
sometimes continuously all day.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like my bladder's going to burst.
Mm-hmm.
And they also labeled it as interstitial cystitis.
Mm-hmm.
And then the anxiety, degenerative disc disease. That would be hard for me, standing and bending and lifting. That would be a hard thing for me to work. And all my jobs have been standing. I've never had a sit-down job.
What about reaching?
Reaching, my left shoulder's been giving me problems. Just had X-ray done on my neck, and he said that the problems in my shoulder could be coming from that. where sometimes I get where I can barely lift my arm to even to reach for anything. It's not every day that it's like that, but whenever I get like a flare up, I can barely pick up a glass and bring it to my face. I have to use my right arm, which I am dominant in my right arm.
Okay.
But I do use my left arm.
Okay. So you just got your initial filing denial, correct?
Yes, it took like 9 months actually. I applied in September. I waited about 3 months after I lost my job. I had went to job interviews, and the last one that I went to, I just couldn't answer the questions. I just broke down. I mean, I was so nervous, and the first question she asked me was, tell me about my typical day. And my typical day is like, I don't do nothing. I sleep late. I did have some problems getting to work on time on my previous job.
Okay. Okay. So help me out with this. Are you currently married, I'm assuming?
Oh, no. I've been to the issues. I used to work at Walmart for 10 years. I worked there, and that's the job that I lost. And I was very good at what I did, and somehow I just started going downhill. It was mainly when a manager started harassing me and just talking down me, and I was feeling like it gave me the same feeling I had when I was with my ex-husband. And I was just starting to decline on the job. I wasn't keeping up with everybody else, and they said that I just really wasn't doing my job well, like I should, and they moved me. I've been demoted and moved into another area. And the last time, I was cashiering, and for the third time, I gave the customer back the money they just gave me. I don't know why. I would have never believed it, but they showed me on video, and I watched myself do it, and it just tore me up. And ever since then, I'm scared to get another job as a cashier, or I worked the money center and the service desk at Walmart. But I've been scared to death to get another job that I will fail. And the other thing is, like I said, I broke down in that interview because I didn't think I would be able to do it, and I couldn't lie to her. And that's when I decided to apply for disability.
How long have you been having these?
I would say difficulties on the job, you mean?
Yeah, this impairment. I mean, when did it start?
It started back. I didn't really believe that I was having problems. I thought I was doing a good job, but I was customer service manager at Walmart, and I left. I made a few mistakes and left money where I shouldn't have left it, and they demoted me from there. They demoted me. I lost $2 and something an hour, and then I seemed to be calm, but I was having the bladder issues, the pain in my bladder, but I did that job for 8, 9 months, maybe 10 months. I'm not even sure. Maybe 8. And they done away with that particular job, so they sent me back to the front end where I worked at the service desk, and sometimes I had to get on a register, which was very hard for me because of my lower back, the repetition, and my upper back. I have some problems with my upper back as far as raising my arms and lifting things above waist height. And so they tried to keep me away from those, the regular register where I would have to be twisting and turning. So I ended up in the money center where I did money transfers, cash and checks, and giving money off debit cards and stuff like that. Or, you know, people would come in with money cards, I'd load them, unload them. Stuff like that. And that's where I was making my major mistake, because I gave a customer back $400 that he had just handed me. I was supposed to put it in the drawer, and I guess I got confused and was thinking that it was, instead of him sending the money, he was receiving the money, which on the register, it was just, I lost focus. And that was happening with me a lot. And I had some coworkers that would say, they did tell me they would help me out if attorney asked them to, with noticing me being spaced out. And I didn't know it. You know, they would ask me, is something wrong? Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. But they noticed it, and, you know, I hadn't really noticed it myself. It's like, it makes me wonder, was I disassociating? Or and they said that I have the major depressive disorder is moderate, and I have anxiety.
What's your highest level of education?
Just 12th grade. I went back and actually to community college. I had quit school. I went back to community college. It's not a GED. I actually got my credits that I needed for the high school diploma.
Okay, so you got a diploma. Now let me ask you this: what's your current age?
55.
Okay. And when did you apply? Were you 55 or 54?
I was 55 when I applied, because I applied like September 19th, and I turned 55 September the 1st.
Okay. Would you mind if I use you?
I feel like I have enough evidence, or I just don't feel like I have enough.
Okay. So let's go with the question, and we're going to work on this question,
Okay.
and then basically I'll run additional questions with you as we were in a hearing, but we're going to skip all the other stuff. We're going to keep the diploma, 55 years old, physical and mental issues. Ma'am, why are you unable to work in the national economy?
Because my anxiety, and I have pain in my bladder area that I wake up with every day, and it takes a little while for it to start going away, and sometimes it doesn't. I use a TENS unit. I also have a sterile one that I use, and that's kind of embarrassing to talk about, because I had these mental problems. It took a urogynecologist to send me to a therapist. They actually diagnosed me with the muscle spasms.
Okay.
And that has been a very major issue with me.
Let's organize this.
Needing to use the restroom.
Let's start with, what jobs have you done in the past 15 years? Tell me the categories of jobs.
I started out after I left my husband. He didn't let me work anywhere. So when I started out, I had to start out, you know, in a restaurant. The first job that I had, I was actually a grill cook in what do you call it? I can't even think of the name. Something like a Golden Corral.
So you were a cook.
Like Ryan Buster Tables,
Okay.
and I came at the cafeteria.
Okay.
That's all I did was just clean the tables and check on the customers and make sure that they if they needed any tea or anything like that.
Okay. So let's go through this. You were a cook, you were bussing tables, you were handling basically food distribution. What about jobs outside of the food industry? Any of those?
Only Walmart.
And what'd you do at Walmart?
Out of the food industry was when I went to work at Walmart.
And what'd you do at Walmart?
And I worked in the garden center to start with. I worked pretty much like a man. I was told that I was pretty much the best worker that they had over there at that time.
But what'd you do? Did you move things? Did you pot plants?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And stuff from the room, and I mean, I moved mulch. I stocked the shelves with anything and everything that the garden center carries. The garden center back then was not like it is now. It was water flowers. We did everything. I didn't run the register at that time. until they made me learn how to run a register in order to become full-time.
Okay.
And so I'm like, yeah, I need full-time because I was single and I had a child.
Okay. Now, the most dangerous thing about you when it comes to hearings is you just spew out information all over the place, but there is no clear answer to the question. So what I'm going to do is you have to answer the question in 3 words or less. No more, 3 words or less.
I know I have a problem with that.
What jobs did you do in the past 15 years, since 2005 forward?
Since 2005 forward? Okay, 2005, I was a grill cook. Then I went to cleaning tables. And then I went to waitressing in a steakhouse. And then hosting in the steakhouse. I went back to the cleaning tables at the same restaurant. Just different locations. And then from there, I actually had a job at the newspaper.
Okay, so we're off task. We're off task. Just a single word of what you used to do. Cook. Next one.
Okay. Cook. Bus tables. Waitress. And I worked as an associate at Walmart.
Okay, cool. So let's go with that. Those are 5. Which one of those did you work the longest?
At Walmart, I had several different jobs there. I was an associate.
Mm-hmm.
I was a customer service manager.
Mm-hmm.
I was just a service desk money center associate.
Mm-hmm. Now, tell me this. What are the functions at that job that you used to do? Tell me the actual physical things you used to do. And summarize. I don't want a story. I want bullet points.
Okay. I lifted. I stocked sales. I had to walk a lot, stand a lot on a register. And I'm not sure what it is.
Can you tell me, how would your impairments limit your ability handle money? How would your impairments limit your ability to do each one of the functions you just mentioned? Just those, don't add any, just those.
Okay. My focus and memory wouldn't allow me to do the jobs on the radio. I had money center and service desk. The listening, I had a problem listening with my back. That would impair me from being able to stand at a register and lift the groceries or stock the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the items are heavy, but that would walking my hips. My hips hurt at just about 300 feet.
Okay.
My hips, it feels like bone on bone. I'm in the process of seeing a orthopedic about that as well.
Okay. Let's start from the beginning because I can feel you're starting to go off from the audio. Why are you unable to do any work in the national economy? First off, what jobs did you do in the past 15 years? Bullet points.
Do you want me to start from the beginning, the job I did?
Yes, bullet points.
Okay. And you want me to stop between each one and tell you why I couldn't do it?
Nope, just bullet points, because we want to get you to the point where you're not thinking about anything else. You have a hurricane of the mind. You're trying to grab at ideas and pull them in, and then so what we've got to do is we have to, because otherwise the judge is going to be pissed at you, and the judge is going to literally not want to talk to you. The judge is just going to have your attorney go ahead and do your questions, and I let you ramble in the beginning for 2 reasons. A, it shows people which is good. So you've come to the right place to get right on target. And the other reason I let you kind of go into this, walking through the weeds and the forest and the this and that is because I'm super tired and I needed a break. so I let you, take.
I can understand. Understand that.
Yeah. So top five. What are the top 5 jobs that you had back in the day?
I was a waitress, a cook, a cashier,
Mm-hmm.
and a associate on the sales floor.
Mm-hmm.
I was a customer service manager.
Okay, so why did you feel it was necessary to say manager?
Well, I failed at that job, or not.
Well,
I did not add that in my paperwork.
How long did you do that job? Yeah, like how long did you do it?
That manager, I did it for like 2 years, and then again for a year and a half.
It sounds like you were doing it for a while.
They demoted me from that job.
Okay. So what happened?
I don't know if I should.
Why did they demote you?
Because they didn't feel that I was able to do that job anymore.
You didn't feel that you could do it, or they didn't?
They didn't feel that I could do it.
Why didn't they feel that you could do that job anymore, being a manager?
Because I forgot things, and I wasn't. They said I wasn't following or keeping up with the tasks that I had to do.
Okay.
That's when I was a bit depressed. I was taking depression medication at that time. That's when things kind of started.
Okay. Okay. Probably one of the most important things of vocational evidence for your claim is why you couldn't do that managerial job. So let's talk real quick. We're going to sidestep right now. And what we're going to be doing is basically going ahead and talking about a failed work attempt. Now, this was a job you worked for too long to be considered for the SSA purposes a failed work attempt. But you tell me why you couldn't be a manager. What were the functions of that job that you could not properly effectuate?
Well, basically, it wasn't a manager job. It was a supervisor job.
Mm-hmm.
I had to run change to the cashiers. I had to make sure that the cashiers all had their breaks and lunches on time.
Mm-hmm.
I had to also take care of customers as they approached me. I had to try to solve them. I had to do key turns, like when a cashier had problems. I had to do a key turn on the registers to approve. I had to approve stuff that needed to be approved.
Okay, now explain to me, with all those functions, right, why did you have a tough time with them? What was so difficult about it that you were no longer able to do it and they demoted you?
My focus. I did agitated. I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed.
So what happened? Something must have happened.
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't cut out for that job to begin with. But there was a manager that changed. A managerial change. Before I took that job the second time, like I said, I had a manager in another department who was putting me down and telling me that I wasn't keeping up, and I needed to do this and I needed to do that, and I couldn't keep up. And that's when I asked to go back to the job that I previously had, which was the customer service manager, because I did a good job at that time. Mm-hmm. And when I tried it the second time, I think that's when the PTSD was coming on me, because I was starting to have nightmares and just a lot of anxiety, because I was trying to do a good job, and I think I was trying too hard.
Okay.
I don't know if I was trying too hard or not. It just, I couldn't do it.
But okay, so you say you couldn't do it. What does that mean, though? You have
my focus. I didn't have any focus. I was all over the place. I just couldn't concentrate. My mind would wander. I had several customers I'd pick up a phone call and I'd forget they're there. Mainly it was forgetfulness.
Well, what happened? How were you? Yeah, how were you forgetful?
Someone would ask me for some change, and I'd forget that they needed it because I was doing other things, and I get overwhelmed, and then I forgot like what I was fixing to do or I forgot to go back to what I was doing, and or like I could walk in a room to this place, a bag of money. I did that. I was just too overwhelmed with everything. It was too much for me. Too much for me to handle. My concentration wasn't there. And I don't know why.
Okay.
I can only focus on one or two things at a time. I can't focus on a whole lot of stuff. Even now, today, I've been, I had calling you on my mind all day. So, like, I didn't do anything else. Just waiting for your call and listening to your videos.
Let's do this. I don't think you're ready for the big question, which is why can't you work? Let's break to what's your most physical impairment?
My most severe physical, one is just about as bad as the other. The bladder pain, the bladder, my pelvic pain, having to use the restroom all the time.
Okay, so that's what. Let's go back. Pelvic pain, or what's the actual original diagnostic impression-based impairment?
Muscle spasms
And
in the pelvic region.
What is your most severe mental impairment?
Depression.
Okay. Out of those
I
two,
don't know.
Out of those two, which is the most severe?
The major depression.
So the depression is the worst out of the two. What are your top 5 most severe impairments? Depression, then you've got the hip issue, and then
my asthma. I've had Dr. Serion's asthma. I'm fixing to have a breathing test done on the 20th. I haven't seen a specialist. I did just last month. I saw a specialist. They're sending me for this breathing treatment. A breathing testing. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we've got depression, hip issue. We have, the breathing issue. What else do we have? Well, give me number 4.
The PTSD.
PTSD. So PTSD, so post-traumatic stress disorder. What does that stem from?
My previous marriage.
Okay.
It was the only marriage I had.
Do you have nightmares or flashbacks?
Flashbacks and nightmares. Mostly nightmares.
Okay. So we've got whatchamacallit, a good chunk of options here. So walk me through, what are your top 5 most severe impairments?
Muscle spasms.
Oh, I thought depression was worse, so that should be number 1, right? Depression, muscle spasms of the hip.
Yeah.
Right.
The muscle spasms, and then the degenerative disc disease in my S1, L1, S5.
Okay.
So, I don't know. L5, S1. I'm sorry. I think that causes some weird problems. I'm not sure. I've just started seeing a new orthopedic.
Okay. So
an MRI.
Okay, you're off the question now. You tell me what was the question?
The question was my top 5 impairments.
And what are your top 5 impairments?
The disorder. The pelvic spasms. Back pain. PTSD. And asthma.
And asthma. Do you have a piece of paper and a pen there with you?
Sure.
Go ahead and write those down. I want you to write down your top 5 impairments.
Okay, hold on. Help me remember what I said. Okay, major depression. I'm trying to find some paper here. I've got a notebook of notes. Okay, major depression. Pelvic spasms. PTSD. Asthma.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Those would probably be the top. Oh, what's something? You only want 5, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I guess anxiety falls under my major depression. I would say the degenerative disease in my back.
Let me know when you're ready. When it comes to your date of birth and age, what are they?
September 1st, 1964. I'm 55.
Do you live in a house? Do you live in a trailer? Do you live in an apartment? Where do you live?
I live in a trailer.
The trailer's a single story, I'm assuming?
Oh, yes.
And how many steps into the trailer?
3.
3 steps? Okay. And help me out with this. Is this a trailer that's very long, or is this a smaller trailer?
It's small.
Is it a single wide or a double wide?
Single wide.
Single wide. Who else lives with you? Who else lives with you in the trailer?
Just myself.
Just yourself. Now explain to me, how do you afford the trailer if you're no longer working?
Mm-hmm. An old 87-year-old. My mother pays the rent on a lot for me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So your mom helps you out. Now, did you sign a loan agreement with your mom by any chance?
No.
You need to do that because otherwise they're going to take away 1/3 of your back pay. So you need to sign a loan agreement. I don't know if I did a video on that yet, but email me tomorrow and I'll send you a copy of what we use. That way you can use it to send into the SSA. Okay. So just make a little note. Email attorney about loan agreement with mom.
Is this for SSI or SSDI?
SSI.
Okay, so that would be for the SSI.
Mm-hmm.
And for the SSDI, would I need that?
No. Did you apply for both programs?
I did, but I was thinking on, I don't know if I would be able to get SSI. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, you would. You'd be able to get a couple of months based upon the averaging calculation of SSDI in the first 5 months not counting, and SSI the first month not counting. So there's a total of 4 months you can get from SSI. Yeah, so as to back pay, which they would reduce by 1/3, which is a no bueno. Okay, so let's keep. So okay, so let's go on to the next thing. So, ma'am, let me ask you this: do you have any children?
2, but they're grown.
Okay, how old are they?
26, and one's going to be 37.
So let's walk through this. So they're definitely grown. Do you have a boyfriend? Do you have a husband? Who do you have?
No. I don't have anybody.
Do you have any pets?
No boyfriend. I have a cat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Outside.
Okay, outside cat. Who feeds the cat?
I do. Sometimes my son and my aunt will go over there and feed them if I'm not there, mm-hmm. because sometimes I'm staying with my mom.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So walk me through this. Who comes to help you with things? It sounds like you're a disabled individual. So walk me through this. Who comes to help you?
I had to have my aunt come and help me clean up some. Mm-hmm. My house. She actually did most of it for me, mm-hmm. because I had went so long without cleaning my house.
Okay.
Because when I would get off work, I was so tired, and then even after, I couldn't do it. Like, the depression wouldn't let me do it.
Okay. So walk me through this. Help me out a little bit. You're having these difficult.
Major depressive disorder. Mm-hmm. Pelvic spasms, interstitial one or the other. They call it PTSD and asthma and degenerative disease in my lower back area. It's called degenerative erythrolysis, L5 and S1. There are a few other L's, 4 and 5, that I have some problems with as well. I mean, I don't know if you want me to tell you what these are on my MRI report.
Okay. Do you feel like you're answering the question, or do you feel
pelvic spasms, interstitial PTSD, asthma, and degeneration in my back?
out of all of those, which is the most severe?
The major depression.
Can you explain to me, when did you start receiving treatment for depression?
From a regular doctor, it's probably been 6 years ago. And from a psychiatrist, I started receiving treatment in 2017.
So help me out with this. How's it going?
I don't feel like I'm any better as far as the depression. They've changed it several times. That it helps a little bit to keep me from. It's not working. Not to the far. I don't think. No.
Okay. So why haven't you changed medications?
I have changed medications. They've changed it several different times. Some of them they gave me, the side effects coming off of it was unbearable. I mean, it would make me throw up. Some of the medications made me really agitated, like I would shake, and I couldn't take them, and I told them I couldn't take them. So they would give me something different. And right now I'm on 3 different ones. Been the best.
Okay. Walk me through so you've got these medications. Can you tell me what the medications are, what they're for, and what side effects you get from each?
The Prozac is for major depression, and I changed Wilburton as well to try to help with energy. That's what I was told. And then I'm also taking I don't listen to it. Also taking Tramadol, I'm sorry, to help me sleep. And then I have clonazepam. That's
cooking, cleaning, laundry, or paying bills?
I don't have a couple of bills that my mom pays now, and I can pay those myself if I have the money. Sometimes she puts it on my bank card and I eat it. So no, not with bills. I have forgotten bills before. Where was the other cleaning? I get short-winded when I try to clean. And the cooking, I have burnt things on the stove. I left it. I try not to cook alone at all on the stove or anything like that. I try to use the microwave.
Okay. Laundry?
I have to do my laundry. But mostly I don't carry basket. I gather my things in my arms and throw them in the washer, and then I'll gather some more and put them in the washer and gather some more. So I'm only filling in like 3 or 4 pieces at the time because it would hurt my back. My legs are weak, and my legs hurt. All this comes from my back.
All right. You are off when you've taken too much time to answer them. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
But let me ask you this. There are things in the environment that cause people to have difficulty. For example, bright, hot, cold, dust, sounds, vibrations, pulmonary irritants. Do your impairments, any of those environmental limitations, do they cause your impairments to become worse?
Yes. And I get short-winded. In the heat, I can breathe very well.
Okay, excellent. Now walk me through this. When it comes to taking care of others, who do you take care of in your life?
I don't take care of anybody. That's me. I barely take care of me.
Okay, so help me out with this. When was the last time you were out of the county?
Last month.
Okay,
and I do that. I do that every month on my stuff. I go visit my mother, and I'll stay there for like maybe 2 weeks, and then go back home for maybe 2 weeks. But when I drive, I have to stop and stretch my legs. And most of the time, whenever I get there, it's hard for me to move around for like the next day. Or problems with my leg. My leg hurts all day the next day.
So you can drive for an hour. Do you have to stop during that hour, or do you stop once you get done with the drive?
It's 2 hours, so I normally stop every hour, if not before, depending on if I have to use a restroom.
Okay.
Each day is different.
Now, let me ask you this. When was the last time you traveled out of the state?
Last year. And that was like 2.5 hours as well. Okay. Same thing. I would stop.
Okay. So help me out with this. Walk me through, when it comes to your ability to drive, issues, I'm assuming, other than you have to stop. You said you have trouble the next day. What do you do to kind of get yourself back on track the next day?
I have to rest. It wears me out. When I take a 2-hour drive, it wears me out. And I sleep longer, and I don't do anything the next day. Maybe go to the doctor. But that's it. That's all I do. If I have a doctor's appointment, that's all I do.
So help me out with this. Basically, your mom is paying for things. How do you afford food?
I have food stamps.
You have food stamps, right? And who prepares the food?
I just buy things that I can put in a microwave. Or I eat a lot at my mom's. Let's say I might be there for 2 weeks and I'll eat with her. Okay. And then the other part of the time, I'm fixing things for myself. Mostly.
What are examples?
Yeah. Pizza.
Okay. So it's just so you use the oven, I'm assuming.
I will use the oven if I have a pizza. Like if I warm over a pizza, but I put the timer on the oven. But mostly I'm just doing TV dinners. Anything I put in the microwave. Corn, you can microwave that. You can microwave anything that I can put in the microwave.
Okay. So help me out with this. What about cook? I mean, do you know how to look up online or watch TV and watch them make recipes? Do you know how to go ahead and follow things online about how to cook? Yeah.
I can do recipes. I mean, I tried looking up a recipe last week, and I just can't follow the recipe. I leave something out. I did do argon potatoes one time, and I put twice the water that I needed. And then I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Okay. Help me out with this. So when it comes to, doing things around the house, how do you clean your house?
I just haven't been cleaning it. I haven't been vacuuming or sweeping or anything. My aunt just come over and help me out.
Okay. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to summarize for you things that you need to work on. First and foremost, the next thing I want you to focus on is summarizing, and summarizing. You should have a list with you that are the top 5 impairments that you have. Medications, what they're for, and what side effects you get from them. Why you can't do cooking, cleaning, laundry, transportation, or paying bills. I also want you to be able to go into the functions of your past job as to why you can't do them.
Okay, so you want me to take, like, stuff that I told you, you want me to break it down in smaller words or smaller sentences, right?
Well, not smaller sentences, but I'm looking for bullet points. I mean, if you want to think of it as like a smaller sentence, I just need you to give that timeline. So,
I've been told that I have an issue with that. I'm all over the place. I can't stay focused on one topic.
Okay. Now, you got a denial. You're most likely going to get another denial, and then your best shot at being found disabled is at the hearing. So, and who's your, don't say the name of your attorney, but do you have an attorney?
I don't have one yet, but I have an appointment on the 22nd to speak with an attorney.
Where are you located geographically?
In North Carolina.
Okay. Now, is this a big box firm, or is this a firm where it's just like once and then all they do is disability law?
No, I kind of listen to you. I've been listening to Jonathan Ginsburg, but sure. I mean, I really love his videos. I've almost watched them all.
Call 5 different attorneys that are in your general area that do this. Work it, and see basically what you can find as to who you get along with the most and who is available to go ahead and work on your claim. Other than that, do you have any questions for me that I can help you out with?
Do you know anyone in the North Carolina area that is not big box?
What I would recommend, what county do you live in?
Nash County, Wilson, North Carolina.
Okay, so look up the Nash County Bar Association, Nash County Bar Association.
Okay.
Ask the board chair for Social Security. Board chair. He might not be the person, but he might be able to direct you to somebody else.
Right. Okay. Because I don't really know when you say big box. I don't really know. I was thinking Jonathan Ginsburg was a big box, but he is in Georgia, and I need somebody local, right?
Well, Jonathan's not a big box. Jonathan's a small box firm.
Okay, well, I was looking at him that way because he has all these videos, but then I saw you appear saying different, so...
Well, so he's not a big box firm.
Big box would be advertising on TV, right?
Big box firms are like not necessarily just TV firms. Big box firms are firms that practice a lot of different areas of law. You'll usually advertisements for them on the billboards, TV, stuff like that. But classic example that because I'm mentioning their name but can't go into detail about them for that reason, is like Morgan & Morgan, who advertises that they're the biggest law firm in the nation. That would be an example of a big box firm. Jonathan Ginsburg, he's closer to you. He's in Georgia. He might be willing to drive up for your hearing. So you might want to call him and see if you can get a hold of him. So that would be an option there. The main thing you want to do is find an attorney that you can get a hold of, and that's going to work your claim. It's important. And remember, it's got to be local enough to be able to drive to your local hearing office. A lot of people hire these firms that are like, these giant firms, and then that giant firm hires a local attorney, pays them $500 to go to your hearing, win or lose. Yeah. And that's not what you want, because they never work on your claim.
And do I need to find one that's all they do?
It's preferential. If it's disability benefits and personal injury, they're all over the place. You know what I mean? If they're really good at what they do, they shouldn't need to do the other stuff.
Right. So the one that I had in mind, he does not workers' comp, but personal injury and disability. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much all that he does.
See if you like him. I mean, look, here's the thing. I'm not being tough on you, but if I were to be tough on you, we would correct it's called testimony shaping, so that you would be stronger with this stuff. But I don't tend to be mean to people when we're doing live on YouTube or the phone, yada, yada, because ultimately, I know that. Yeah, but think about it. Like, ultimately, the point is not to beat the person up and out of them, because when they go into that hearing room, I need to know what they're going to say. And I need to know how they're going to say it so that I can follow up with questions. The reality here is this. you've got to be good with your testimony, because if you come out with statements that are bad, it's going to kill your claim. All right. So, yeah, when you talk to these attorneys, some of the questions. All right. Now, here's the thing, too. I have an entire series of new videos coming out about what questions you should ask your future attorney. It is scheduled over the next 2 months, because over the next 2 months, I'm going to be going on vacation. And the whole point of it is I shot a ton of videos so that people will still see them when I go on vacation, even though when I'm on vacation, I'll still be able to go ahead and answer questions and do law stuff. So the point here is, if you want, reach out to me tomorrow via email, and I'll send you specifically each one of those things that you need to ask your future attorney.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, because that'll make it easy. You'll just be like, go down the list, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that'll cover the whole yada yada, you know. But everybody else has to wait. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have had a lot of managers tell me that I ramble, and that's why I wanted some practice. And I may call you back one day if you ever do any live later on.
Yeah, honestly, next week, if you want to call in, I'll keep running it with you. You have improved massively just over that little bit of time, which to me says if you had another video, like another time to chat with us on YouTube and go through this stuff, you would get significantly better. And the reason why is when people are ramblers, the first thing that people do is basically just answer the question that's being given to them. Then next time that they run questions, they learn about how to shape the question. And that's when they really start to get good, because the ramblers, they're not the tough ones to fix. The people who are mentally like all over the damn place because they truly cannot think, you know, their IQ is too low, or they're just, their brain is shot from drugs or whatever. Those individuals, they take forever to go. I ran probably 6 hours with one claimant that I had a hearing with today of just doing testimony shaping before the hearing. Multiple days, over and over and over again. And finally, we got to the point that she was ready to roll, and she rocked it. She did a good job. You are not that issue. You need basically a couple of runs through the questions, somebody to beat on you a little bit, for you to go back and work on it, come back. You probably only need somebody to run you through the questions 3 times for you to have it.
So I don't need to lay out everything that's wrong.
We've talked.
That's what I was thinking, and I don't know how to do all that, you know.
We've talked for more time than you would be able to talk in the hearing. So basically, imagine you'd only have half of this amount of time to run through all the questions. So yeah, call back.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Okay, I was listening to you week, and you were saying, because I mean, I just crammed, binge watched a lot of your stuff.
Sure.
When you said something about this, you know, being a storyteller and to try to emotionally connect with the judge, and that's what I was kind of wondering about.
Like hardly any of the story, and they're just throwing it on the plate. Here's the thing: when you want to tell a story to a judge, the trick to it is to look at who the great storytellers are and go watch them talk about how they explained their movie, how they explained their book. Go watch Steven Spielberg talk about how he created brilliant movies. Go look at, you know, great writers, you know, top-notch books. Watch them talk about the creation process, because what will happen is you'll realize that to them, all the story can be brought down to a single sentence. And it was that single sentence that they kept back to in their mind to define what they wanted. So you've got to master them. Keep going back to those, keep going to those. All right. Excellent, madame. I'm going to go ahead and take another phone call real quick. I will catch you later, and have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. So there's somebody who's been with me with doing these videos from pretty much the beginning. And I know it's getting late. It's 1:53. We've been doing this. We're only supposed to do it for basically 2 hours. But Spock, I would love it if you would call in. And I would love to run this as if a real judge were going to run this thing. I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to go into things, and you have a tough time. Here we go.
Leonard Nimoy.
Howdy, good sir. Are you ready to go ahead and run questions?
Yeah.
Good sir, go ahead and state your full name for the record.
Leonard Nimoy.
What is your date of birth and current age?
3/13/1980. 40 years old.
Okay, 40 years old. Now walk me through this. Do you live alone or with others?
I live with my mom.
Okay. How long have you lived with your mom?
Probably about 2 years now since the disability.
2 years ago. What happened?
I actually cut my forearm and lost the use of my left hand.
And what caused that? How did you do that?
That was actually self-inflicted. I was going through a lot at the time. My brother passed away. I was going through a divorce. It was just like a mental breakdown. I ended up slitting my own wrist.
Walk me through this and help me out. Did you have surgery thereafter?
Yes, I had surgery right after the same day, and then there was like a few days later I had another surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was just 2 on that.
Okay. So walk me through this. Where were you working while this was all going on?
I was actually a handyman. I was going door to door, selling jobs with no cleaning, 3 or 4 years.
Okay. Why did you choose that vocation?
I was unable to keep a job before. I'm sorry, I was breaking up. I had actually been hurt before. I had my right foot run over by a forklift. And so when I got full-time work, I wasn't calling in or missing work because of the foot pain. So I decided just to be a handyman. Never can try to work my own hours. It wasn't too strenuous on the foot.
So what was going on with your foot?
It actually got run over by a forklift about 20 years ago. The big toe statement upwards sweating on the workman's comp toe pay it.
Help me out with this. So you ran over your foot, tore it all, up. So I'm guessing you have walking difficulty, correct?
Yeah, right now since the accident, I've been on it for about 20 years. I've been using it, but since the accident, I've developed arthritis. So I got like a golf ball size knot, like right where the big toe connects to the foot. There's like a golf ball size arthritic knot, like rheumatoid arthritis. And I got another one underneath my ankle. It's about the same thing. It's about a golf ball size arthritic nail. So that's what I'm having surgery on.
What was the job that you had directly before the job we just spoke of?
That I kept calling in. I'd work. They actually let me go because of my attendance. I would call in probably like once a week, maybe. I'd take longer breaks, take longer lunches, take about, the foot really bothers me is back in the hand, and that was when I was working on the foot. So I'd work on it. It would hurt during the day. But when I took the break and when I got off, that's when the pain got worse and swelling got bad. So getting back up to get back to work was always hard for me to do because I was because of the foot pain.
Okay. So walk me through the past 15 years, or is something else in there? I mean, I'm assuming.
Oh, I've had in the past year, I've had probably about 15 to 20 jobs. I work about a month and get let go. It's for my attendance. Every time it's for my attendance. Because of, then this is before the arm. It was the foot pain. It was just because standing on the foot, having to work on the foot. I'd always call in. Like I said, I'd call in, or I'd take long lunches. They would just let me go for my attendance. And like I said, it's been like 15, 20 jobs in 1 year, and I would lose a job and then just go right back at it to get another job.
Okay. So help me out with this. What kind of orthopedic devices or ambulatory devices do you use?
I was prescribed initially for the foot. I was prescribed a crutches, but I use I don't really use crutches. I use a cane. The doctor never really prescribed me a cane. I already had one. The cane does help, and since my arm injury, it's hard. The only good arm that works is my right hand. And that's the hand I have to hold the cane in. So a lot of times I don't use the cane because it takes up my only good hand. So I brought that up to my doctor, and he suggested I wear a boot. Because, like I said, when I got the cane in my hand, it really limits me doing anything. I'll have to lean the cane out to, say, grab something out of the pantry, and the cane falls over, then I got to bend over, pick up the cane. And so it can be more of a hindrance, and it helps easier just to kind of hobble around the house instead.
So walk me through this. So, you have these things. You've got the cane. Is it a single prong or a 4-prong? Okay, so the crutches were prescribed. You no longer needed them. You switched to the cane. You've got the cane now. Help me out with this. You were a handyman, right? And what kind of jobs did you do?
Whatever they needed, like a window clean. I did the main thing was window washing. I knocked on the door if they needed the windows washed. I'd have these ladder, to get a lot of people want the windows cleaned because it's 2 stories, so I'd have to get up on a ladder, which was hard on the foot. And then now with the hand, it'd be impossible to climb the ladder. But I don't remember what was the question.
So when it comes to you doing these handyman jobs, you had a difficult time with ladder-based work. What were some of the other functions that you did?
Think of what else. I guess landscaping, if they needed some kind of brick repair or some kind of landscaping done, I put that.
Okay. So landscaping, what kind of landscaping did you do?
Just like maybe the gardening, if they needed to run some water pipe to the gardens, or if they needed to fix the masonry around like a tree or something. Maybe trim their bushes, or pretty much whatever little things they needed around their house.
So would you ever bring aggregate in,
Yeah, well, concrete. I guess I'd have to bring a bag of concrete to do if they needed any repairs or anything like that. Most of the time it was, or sometimes I'd repair a fence. But most of the time they had the products there, and I would just show up and do the job for them.
Okay. So walk me through this. Were you doing mowing for them? Was it just kind of, setting things up, putting pavers in, stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, I'd mow if they needed. Not mow too much, but I would mow if they needed.
Okay.
Like I said, all this was before the hand injury. I had, and I'd only work 4 hours a day doing it, just because of the foot problem, and I try to do the work, but I would try to do whatever I could. I lost where you're going with the question was.
Okay. So walk me through this. You were doing these things. You were helping out around homes. Now, was this like a little company you had as like a side actual company, or was this just kind of a thing that you would do on the side?
No, I didn't even have a permit to do it. I wasn't even supposed to be knocking on people's doors, I don't think, in some of these counties. I would just knock on their door and see if they wanted if they needed any work done. So it wasn't like an actual company. I didn't have employees. And it was all paid cash or check. It was just kind of like, hey, do you need something done?
So walk me through this. Did you do any tree work?
Any what kind of work?
Like tree work?
It's just clean the leaves.
Okay. So you're cleaning these leaves. So walk me through, what kind of power tools would you use on the job usually?
just about whatever you could think of. You have to use the skill saw, electric drill, pretty much any tool that needed to be used for the job. All the jobs are always so random. But yeah, power tools I could have used. I said before the hand. Since the hand accident, I've tried to hang up a video camera. I couldn't hold the screw. I tried to hold the screw with my left hand, which is the hurt hand.
Sure.
Yeah, I was dropping the screw. I couldn't get I ended up never getting the camera up because I had to hold the power with my right hand. I couldn't hold the screw. And it was just it had to be the hand is the worst, because the hand, I know this sounds kind of weird, but the more my heart gets pumping, the less blood flow gets to my hand. And after about 15 minutes, it'll go numb, it'll get cold. And after about 20 minutes, it'll be in extreme pain. And I'll actually have to, I almost want to cry. It's too much pain. I actually have to get in a hot bath, soak it, and get it back to let's see, regular temperature. Like I said, it could be in the summer and it still gets ice cold and hurts. Other than the hand, there's like the foot injury. I actually hurt my back on a job, probably about part of that. Mm-hmm. That's where it hurt. That's where I pulled it. I was climbing a fence and pulled something out of place. And so when I went to the doctor, they diagnosed me, and I said it was the back. So they said it's the back. But when I went to see a specialist, got an MRI done, he was saying it's the neck. But since it's workman's comp and it was already diagnosed with the back, they won't let him diagnose the neck. So it's actually a neck problem, which limits my ability to look behind me, to turn, pull it out of place. It causes tension, headaches. If I lift something too heavy, like something over like 10 to 15 pounds, it's going to pull my back out of place. I forgot what we were talking about. Oh, and then I also got a PTSD, depression. I don't take baths like I should anymore. It's from the decision. You know, I wish we could take it back, but then it causes depression. It causes, I don't want to take a bath. I don't want to change clothes. I can't finish reading a book or watching TV. I have to sit here. Really, I know it sounds kind of hard to believe that somebody sits here and looks at four corners, four walls, but I really do sit here every day in pain. It's miserable.
What's your highest level of education?
Just a high school degree.
You ever been in jail or prison, any of those penal institutions?
And then never.
Okay. And help me out with this. Before you lived with your mom, where'd you live?
Actually, I had my own apartment. But like I said, from losing the jobs, I lost the job this last time. Shortly after that, my brother passed away, and then like a month or so after that's when I was going through a divorce, and I went ahead and that's when I ended up cutting my arm.
And walk me through. You cut your arm. What happened then?
What happened the night that I cut it?
What happened then?
I said I was getting into it with my wife, so we were going through a lot, and something in me just snapped. I had a break. It actually was. I lost my mind if you ask me, because I thought people were talking to me. I would say I heard voices, but it was my voice. It was me telling me to do this stuff. And for some reason, I needed to see a nurse. For some reason, I had a razor in my hand, and I cut it. It was like a split-second decision. I didn't know it would take my left hand. I ended up cutting my own wrist. My stepdad tackled me after that. My mom they didn't put a tourniquet on. They tried to stop the bleeding as I was, slipping in the blood on the floor. And for some reason, I don't remember them calling the police. I had to yell out for my daughter. I thought I was about to die, seconds worth of death, and I had to yell out for my daughter. I was like, I love you. And then I started thinking, I'm about to bleed to death. I'm about to die. And my parents are holding me down. It kind of seemed like nobody called. And I ended up yelling to my stepson, hey, somebody call the police. So he ended up calling, and they showed up. But it's kind of like, when I think back, it's kind of like they were going to let me die. And it's kind of, it affects me.
People didn't run to your aid the way you expected they would.
I try to keep my mind off. but yeah, every night I try to like watch videos, like documentaries, to my mind off of it. If I'm sitting here in the quiet, I start thinking about it. I start thinking about just taking my hand, them not tell me, and yeah, it does actually cause. I'm dreaming about it, but it's also just being awake, thinking about it too. That really fucks me.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go through this. Let's hit the question again. What do you feel your top 5 impairments?
It's going to be the foot injury, the hand injury, the back, and the PTSD.
Okay. Proving.
No, not really. I have a surgery coming up for the foot. They can do a replacement on the knuckle with a big arthritis in the knuckle, but they're not willing to work on the ankle because it would be major reconstructive surgery. So hopefully that'll get better after the surgery, but they're only fixing part of it. The hand, it's been 2 years. The doctor said it's going to take 2 years for the nerve to grow back, but it's been 2 years and it hasn't gotten any better. I've still got extreme pain. I can't use it. It's as good as it's going to get. So that's basically nothing I can do about the hand. The back, like I said, with that workman's comp case, with the being in between the wrong diagnosis, I know a doctor will touch it. So I can't get, since it's workman's comp, I can't, that'll get any better or not. It's not gotten any better. And then the PTSD. I hope that goes away, but I've been seeing a psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
And hold on one second. Okay, with the PTSD, I've been seeing a psychiatrist, but it doesn't really seem to help. I do all the talking. He doesn't, he doesn't really, he prescribes me medicine. Says it's going to take some time for the medicine to kick in. But I haven't seen it. I'm still not changing my clothes or taking baths. It doesn't seem to be helping, but I see him. But
Well, let's do this. I've got to go ahead and be on a phone call with the claimant at 10:30. She's only awake at night, so I have to do this phone call. But I don't want to attack you. I just don't feel like there's any point. But this is where I see weaknesses. Number one, you had the foot issue, but you're able to do all these, repair-oriented tasks. And it was good that you said you can't do ladder-based work. But the problem is we're going to get into lifting abilities. And if you're there doing, bringing in river stone, if you're bringing in pavers, if you're doing landscaping, that's going to blow any hope of us taking the fact that you have a serious foot injury off the table. Because if somebody's got a serious foot injury, they're talking about using a cane all the time. And if you're like, and before the hand issue, if you're like, oh, I have to use a cane, but yet you're doing these other functions, nobody's going to believe that. The other thing is that I noticed a couple of times you weren't sure what question we had going back to it, and then, okay, where were we at, and things like that. Somewhere in there is some sort of short-term memory-related issue, and being able to focus on specifically what it was that we were going for when asking the question. So I don't know if you have a diagnostic impression on a memory-related problem, or there was some trauma to the brain, or it was just one of those things that developed over time. Also, one thing that you're not really utilizing to your best effort is explaining why your level of education has limited your ability to get higher work. That's kind of a more expert-based technique. Another thing, too, is that when you talk about the jobs you have, it's tough, and I get it, but you have to approach each job back in the day as to why you couldn't do them without considering all of your impairments that are current, why you currently couldn't do it. Because you were released from that one job, and then you did this other job under the table, and you still couldn't do it. So that's kind of the functional, we want to explain why you couldn't do it back in the day, and then add all the new impairments on top of it. I just don't feel like attacking you, because it seems like a really tough life where you went from, a bad situation with heavy equipment to suffering, trying to do your own thing, it being in a really crap part of life that ended up equating to pretty bad laceration to the arm, which then equated to lack of use of the hand. And what sucks is that if you had really, really good insurance, they could do microsurgery and reconnect everything, and you'd have use of the hand again. So it's one of those things where I emotionally don't want to attack you, because you're not one of those claimants that is faking it. You're one of those claimants who has lost general use. And lost general use claimants, it's tough. You know, I have the capacity to use my hands and fingers. I have the capacity to use my legs without issue. You know, you would be surprised how many claimants call me and tell me about their so sad story of their COPD and their fibromyalgia, which is, you know, kind of like, come on. But in your situation, you know, and let me ask you this: any drug abuse in your past, things like that?
No, I've never done drugs.
Yeah, I didn't get the feeling that you were an abuser or user or anything like that. I just got the feeling that things got really bad, and you decided to go ahead and take the next step. And cutting a wrist like that is a suicide attempt. That is a very serious one. Were you ultimately Baker acted because of this?
What was that? Was
Were you Baker acted? It's where the police grab you and take you to a mental hospital.
They never took. No, they took me to the actual hospital to have the surgery, and I was in the mental unit. I was in the hospital having surgeries. I was underneath the suicide watch, or the mental part of it. I could eat. I couldn't have, you know, forks or whatever. They just gave me soft boiled eggs, but so I was never in the mental hospital, but it was actually the mental hospital of the actual hospital. You get what I'm saying?
I got you. Okay. So, all right. So here's what I would say. Now you were already found disabled, right? You were already found approved, right?
Yeah, I was approved.
Good. If you ever run into any problems, make sure you give me a call. I'll walk you through, send you the forms, whatever you need. And good sir, have a wonderful night. We'll catch up from there.
That'll work.
Perfect. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Extremely difficult times, which has led to that claimant basically being unable to function in the national economy. This is a story where you can see somebody struggling to the point that they chose to kill themselves over continuing to live. I know a lot of you have impairments, but imagine you're so bad that you're not like, hey, I'm thinking about stepping in front of a car, but you actually take an object to your flesh and you cut it as hard as you can to make sure that you get down enough to sever all of the blood vessels that are going to go to your hand, with the hopes that you'll bleed out, with that it'll all end. And my point with this is that when somebody goes to that level, when they're into the situation of somebody who cannot fix this mental problem on their own, the medication that they were taking isn't working, and they've decided now to take the final step of choice as a person and to remove their ability to function as a human being, death. So that's just something that really pulled me into this, that I pulled out of that situation, which is why I didn't want to attack him. The part about the cane and then doing all this landscaping and doing handyman work, I could have gone after him with that, but the reality is I don't know what degree he was doing this at. You know, he didn't have heavy equipment. He didn't have lawn trucks and crane bodas and tractors and front loaders and back loaders, and you know, he didn't have all that stuff. He was just doing little stuff. So basically, I'll go ahead and catch up with you guys next week. So next Thursday, we're going to go ahead and do this some more. I'll catch up with you then. If you have any questions, you can always shoot to me throughout the week, but try to ask me questions in this platform and call in, because it's just easier for me, because I'm getting literally 5 to 10 people who aren't my clients asking me questions per day. And I can get back to about 2, but even some days I can't even get back to that. I just have to stick with the client. So anyways, catch up with me. I'll catch up with you in the near future. I'll see you next Thursday. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. And remember, take care of yourself. It's a scary world out there. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.